Okay, so tonight we are continuing on our adventure into rigging animation and modeling in Blender with our little bunny girl from last time, who I went ahead and I actually did some fun materials on here just to keep things interesting. But we'll get to that later. Today we are going to be doing, let's turn my screencast keys on, there we go, rigging. So we're going to start off by making sure that our cursor is right here at the center of the scene by pressing Shift-C, Shift-A to add a new armature. And so an armature is, let's turn on X-ray, which is over here in the little box tab here of object data. So what an armature is, it's like a skeleton, and you want to use it to create bones that will animate your character. So let's go into edit mode on this armature. Let's bring this down. And this will be what's called the root node. So you press N to enter the properties menu. And down here in the item tab, you can name it root. And so let's select the top nub here. So on a bone, you can select the bottom, the middle, or the top. And so when you're making a new bone out of it, you want to select the top. So let's extrude up. I've just pressed E and then just dragged up like this, and I press Z to keep it on the so if I wanted to like press E, I could do whatever I wanted, but pressing Z locks it to the Z axis, which I like. So that's there. I want to disconnect this from the root so that I can move it separately. I press Alt P, disconnect bone, and I just move it up like so until it's nice and there. And then I want to extrude again, up, and then I actually want to do some hair stuff, so I just extrude it again. Let's disconnect this bone as well, Alt P, and then disconnect bone. And so I know I'm going a bit quickly through this. For those of you who saw this in class, this will be old hat, but for those of you who didn't get out today for various reasons, this is going to be a bit quick. So luckily it's a video, and you can pause it whenever you like. So that's the hair, looking good. Let's go back and make some arms from the neck here. You don't want to extrude them from the bottom because then it'll be weird. So let's extrude out like this. And we're going to disconnect this and move it out like so. Once again, pressing G is the hotkey to move things. And then G. Actually, you know, let's make it a little bit more complicated, because I had a very simple setup today in class, and people were curious about how to do certain things, which I'm going to do today. So let's make this arm kind of like that. Move this up a little bit. There we go. And so let's name these up arm.l. So .l or .r denotes the arm.l, right or left on symmetrical objects, and then hand.l. And so here's a fun thing. If you select all three and then Shift D, and you just move it over, let's lock it to the x-axis by pressing X, and then Control M, telling it to flip, and then X, tell it to flip in the x-axis. And then you just move it like so. And pressing W brings it to the Specials tab, and in here is actually flip names. So now these are automatically hand.r, low arm.r, and up arm.r, which is very nice. Okay, and so let's give her some legs. The legs don't have to be as complicated. Let's create a new bone directly down, disconnect bone, just because there's just wheels anyways. So we'll keep them simple. There we go. And then Shift B to duplicate, X to move it in the x-axis. There we go. Let's call this leg.l and leg.r. So it's the character's left and right. So this is the character's left leg and the character's right leg. Let's call this one body. Oh, body. And head. Hair 1 and hair 2, and that should be good. And you can go to town, you can make a tail, you can make ears, And what I'm actually going to do, I'm actually going to make a little face for her because in class today, there are some people who were curious about facial parts. So let's duplicate an eyebrow up here and then move it like that. And just like last time, we're going to use proportional editing to just kind of like move up the middle. There we go. Looks a little bit weird. That's okay. Turn off proportional editing. Shift D and Control M, X, and move that like so. And I have to make sure that because this normal's flipped, I go to shading UVs, select everything, recalculate. That's there. And let's give her a little smile as well. Cylinder, 8 sides. Ooh. There's a baby crying out in the hallway. Always nice. No, just the faces. Our Y 90 degrees. And let's make it smaller and then bigger in the x-axis. Let's keep that like this. And then making some edge loops, just like last time. And bring these in. Grid fill, just to clean up the edges. Did it not go? Oh, there we go. Shoop, and grid fill. Bring that bad boy back here. There. Just a cute little lips. Okay. She's very cute now. And smooth it out. Okay. So that's good. So back to the armature. Let's give her a bit of a facial rig. So back to edit mode. And coming off of here, we're gonna want just a couple little bones. So let's disconnect some bones. Back to front view. And just like that. And let's make sure it's actually in line with what it's supposed to be. And duplicate it. Flip it in the x-axis. Might get a better view if we turn on wireframe. There we go. It's a little bit too far back. There we go. Nice. And one more for the mouth. Disconnect bone, front view, wireframe. This is more complicated than it strictly needs to be. But because I'm just going to show you guys how to do facial rigs in a very simplistic way, this is just something we'll do. And by the way, to refocus, it's the number pads period. That's how you refocus on stuff. There we go. And there we go. Okay. So now we have a rig that we're happy with. Let's Shift C just to go back to the center with the cursor, just because it's nice there. And so now this part is very important. You're going to, in object mode, select your character and select your armature. Press Control P, which is the parent button. So to press Control and then a key usually means do that thing. Pressing Alt and P means undo that thing. So before, when we were pressing Alt P, we were going into the unparenting menu, which is why we can disconnect the bones. But now we're parenting. So we're going to go set parent to armature deform with empty groups. And so now what that means, if we go to our mesh and we go to the data tab, we can see there's all of this different stuff here. So what is all this head stuff? Where is this? Oh, this is the face. I didn't name the face stuff at all. So let's call this eyebrow .l, eyebrow.r, mouth in.l, mouth out.l. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Nope, there we go. Mouth in.r and mouth in dot out.r. There we go. And save up, just because it's always good to save. Okay, so now we have that. Let's go back to edit mode, and we're selecting the mesh, and now we have all these things here, nice and in a row. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into edit mode, and we're going to make sure nothing is selected, and then while hovering over a part of the thing, press L, and then go over here to body and press assign. And so now, if you want to find out what part is attached to the body, you can press select, blink, and it will select the parts that are connected to the body. Another cool way to look at what you've got is the weight paint mode, which looks like this. And it looks like I've actually already attached some things to some things. So I'm actually going to undo a lot of that. So this is from messing around with it for my PowerPoint this morning. Just make sure nothing is attached to anything. I don't think any of these things down here will be attached to anything, but you never know. Okay, nice. And so let's double check. Nothing is attached to anything. Except for the body. Perfect. Okay. So let's do the head. So the head is that. We got that. We got that. And assign. Now for the hair, it's going to be a little more interesting. So let's go into, so make sure you have the hair selected first of all. And let's go into weight paint mode. And what you want to do is you want to press this little box down here. Boop. And you want to have this set to mix, which is kind of like just a better version of add, just mix. So let's get the front of the hair. We want this to be smooth. So we want the front of the hair to be attached to the head. We want the middle of the hair to be attached to this bone. And then the bottom of the hair to be attached to this bone. So we're going to use the weight gradient with head selected first. Make sure you have head selected. And we're just going to drag. And this will, in a very nice way, start to create a gradient of sort of influence. And so let's do hair 1 from the middle of the bone down, and hair 2 from the middle of the bone up. You want the yellow to be kind of around where the bones meet. But you might notice that I have too much up here, so it's going to be a weird influence. So what I do is I go back to subtract, blink, blend mode subtract, do another weight gradient, and just subtract this part. So now, if I go into object mode, and I select the armature, and I go into pose mode, it's kind of a nice smooth, very smooth, as opposed to very janky. And it all kind of, you'll note that the face doesn't move with it, but that's okay. We'll get to that. Okay. And by the way, to make sure everything's back where it started, just press Alt-R to reset the rotation, Alt-G to reset the location, and if you change the scale, Alt-R will reset the scale. Okay, so let's save up. Let's connect some more stuff. The eyes I'll actually connect directly to the head, just because we have nothing else controlling them. The eyebrows, I will connect to their respective eyebrows. And now for the mouth, things are getting a little bit more interesting. You can focus on it with the period on the number pad. And let's go into this mode here. So we're going to go to weight paint. And once again, remember this box here is in very... what have I done? What have I done? No! happened to me last time. Good thing I saved. I have no idea what I did there. I have literally no idea. See, saving is important, everybody. Okay, so go in here, select this eyebrow. Nope, we want to select these guys. Those are attached to the head. These are attached to the eyebrows. Eyebrows. And the mouth. Okay, back to where we were. Saving again. Okay, so for this part, we're going to make sure that we're selected in edit mode. And then Wave Paint, we have the little box selected, which it is, which is nice. And then we're going to go to the mouth section. So mouthin.l is this here. So we're just going to back to mix from kind of the middle here. Mouthout.l is middle here. Mouthin.r here. And mouthout.r is here. And now we get rid of what we don't want with subtract, which is kind of like this. And same thing on the other side, like this. Okay, so that's good. We got that. That is lovely. Moving right along. Let's go back to edit mode. Let's select all of this leg. And that will be our leg.l. This leg is leg.r. Save up. And now we're going to look at these arms, okay? So we have up arm, low arm, and hand. And so selecting all of that, we're going to go back to weight paint mode and then go to up arm, go back to mix, weight gradient, from the middle of the bone, get the yellow over there, low arm, middle of the bone, yellow at the wrist, and hand, like so. And then let's make sure we get rid of the overlap with subtract. There we go. And now let's do the other side. Go back to edit mode, select this arm, back to weight paint mode, make sure you have the correct arm and parts of the arm selected. Same thing here. Same thing here. And same thing here. And delete the parts we don't want. There we go. Okay, so now we have a rigged character that kind of has like little bones like that. Once again, Alt-R to reset rotation. We're gonna do one last little step, which is very exciting, which is called adding inverse kinematics. And what that is inverse kinematics is saying this bone is kind of like on a hinge, right? So where is the hinge? Let's say the hinge is right here. So let's like this bone. We go to the bone with the chain, which is bone constraints, add a bone constraint, inverse kinematics, and let's change the chain length to 2. You can very slightly see it. There's a little yellow line here. If I were to go further, it would start going further back up the chain, but I think this is perfect. And what that means is when I move this, it kind of acts as if these two are just naturally connected to each other. So same thing over here. Let's make a bone length of, so that 2 is there, 3 is there to the top of the shoulder. That's where I want it to be. And then 3 is there. And these guys are good. And this actually, do I want these? Yeah, that's fine. I just really didn't connect the her little bum. There we go. Let's get to the body. Perfect. Okay. So now what we have is this nice system. I think I'll actually add them to these too. do. Okay. So these can be like, so let's hide that for now, and we can still, oh, wait, actually, one second. Let me, instead of hiding it, let me just turn off the X-ray. There we go. So now we can be like, grab the hand, and then she'll be like, like, and like, and let's make the hair a little bit more magical. And let's have her put her hand on her hips, like that. And move her a bit this way, and back like that. So now she's like, what's that over there? In your hair. There we go. And yep, that's pretty much it. There was a couple of more advanced techniques in here. If you want to just make a simple armature out of like body, arm, leg, head, that's totally fine. If your armature is even simpler than that, don't sweat it. That's all you need. But like this is a medium complex rig that I created just for the sake of showing what is possible. And I hope you guys learned something and that it wasn't too long, and have a good night.